Greetings, ZOGling winger, mams, ass clowns across the spirit of Zog land here in the open air, coast to coast nut house we call Zog Babylon, the third and the final. But this particular show, as always, is aimed, before the selection, the general selection, especially for United States Senate, which is just a little bit over 2 weeks away. I really gotta go ahead and what I'm looking at is all the crooked crap which is beginning to just pile up on Senile Joe and the rest of them here. Senile Joe is busily pumping out every single excess barrel they can go ahead and add in order to keep gas prices from going up after the November selection. And you end up having the January 6th, committee, and they went after Steve Bannon. Now, Steve Bannon is another blowhard, another buffoon, essentially he's a blight wing buffoon. And on the other hand, I gotta go ahead and point out is that actually he was tougher and smarter than Trump here, in that, hey, he's gotten a 4-month jail sentence here for contempt of Congress. Well, folks, everyone who has a bit of brains in his head has nothing but contempt of Congress. Congress is contemptible. So are these kangaroo courts. For example, I end up having $2.75 million against me in the northeastern district of Ohio. And so as a result, since 2016, I've been advocating Chernobylizing the North Perry nuclear power plant. It's okay to go ahead and kill race traitor wiggers. It's okay to go ahead and make sure that, since they like telling us white supremacists what we can and cannot do. I mean, I have to be a little bit careful. I don't dare be a 2020 selection denier. And I was looking at this Arizona woman who's probably going to win. I think the people, even Democrats will realize is that shoot, shit can't be going on like this here. And what they'll decide to do is, well, hey, see if we can't, and part of the way to go ahead and fix this would be to have Senile Joe and the rest here do away with the notion that we're going to go ahead and green our way here through electronic vehicles and all this sort of thing, and just simply allow more drilling to occur on American soil. I think drill baby drill is sort of ridiculous, but on the other hand, the use of coal is going to be necessary to provide for electricity. So we understand that. But in the case of Northeast Ohio, getting back on that here, I'm going to go ahead and ask J.D. Vance and, the Democrats, I mean, will they go ahead and allow me to sue the state of Ohio for essentially allowing Brian Rio, one of their agent provocateurs, to run wild? And in the case of South Dakota, I am more annoyed because guess what? These are supposedly my people, and what they decide to do is just simply allow Brian Rio and Brian Rio's lawyer, Robert Conrad, to just simply come in and go against my sister and cost her $150,000 trying to pretty well force her to go ahead and sign over the inheritance I gave over to her, and she wanted to quitclaim it back to me, and they wouldn't allow her to do it. So folks, if a crooked judge pulls this shit, he has to eat his spawn's nuts. Guess what? Grids Grinder Greggy Strevel went ahead and went along with pretty well destroying my family. And then my grandson got homosexually raped, and here they are going after me for it. And then deciding to send me to the nut house because I wouldn't accept a public pretender. Guess what? Make the lawyers eat their spawn's nuts. If they don't believe in law, I don't either. I'm laughing here because here are a whole bunch of pigs in Connecticut or someplace like that, and they come across some dissatisfied customer, and the dissatisfied customer called them to his house with a 911 call, and then killed them 2 pigs dead. Good. Good. Dead pigs. Pigs support Satan. This is Satan's government. And so, no. I mean, I have said since the 27th of February 2020, because I knew exactly it'd just be crooked to where they go ahead and take my inheritance. Well, guess what? You regime criminals, you're not going to get to go ahead and leave anything to your children because, well, you won't have at least any children able to participate and respond because, well, you'll have your nuts cut here. And pretty well your females will be spayed, but they'll be turned into walking wombs. You're simply turned. So essentially, if you're just nothing more than thieving, stealing, copulating animals, we'll take that away. We'll take that away. And really, only righteous people will survive and prosper. You see, I was listening to the Z-Man and, we can't go ahead and get rid of all the leaf blowers. We can't get rid of all... No, the answer is we certainly can. What's happening in the Ukraine is showing that just, very well here. Well, what happens to the Ukrainians are about to go ahead and overturn Kherson. And so the Russians, they are evacuating their Russian people here, and oh no, they're especially taking the Russian children and sending them further into Russia where they are safe. Folks, this is caring for your people. That's what Vladimir Putin is doing here. He's going ahead and bringing them up to be Russians. He's not bringing them up to be metrosexuals here. And so, the smart thing to do is that, when the Soviet Union went in, someone said, the Soviet Empire. No, I mean, you had people like Dmitry Orlov who said quite there is that the so-called Soviet Empire was more like an emaciated sow to where the Russian people were pretty well bringing up, the Muslims, the rest of them here. So what it would be is that Ukraine was the biggest, piglet, and I mean, of all the power plants and the rest here, every single one of them was created during the Soviet Union. Now, some of them, like Chernobyl, didn't work out too good, but that might have been, sabotage or whatever here. I mean, just like with the North Perry nuclear power plant. You go ahead and, Chernobyl it here, and guess what? There goes nuclear to the mix because nobody will want to have something that's going to be radioactive for the next couple 100,000 years here. And pretty well what you have is you have Zog Babylon just falling apart here. Really, my idea is to create to where you end up having healthy white people, probably around 50 or maybe even 100 million. But guess what? It will be where, guess what? Lawyers don't run wild, pigs don't run wild, liberal Whigger females don't run wild. I'm looking at all these Iranian skanks here, and they're bitching here about feeling solidarity for Iranians here. Folks, the Iranians live the way they are because they are Iranians here. They're not little Jewesses and not little Whiggesses, and they're not all this and that here. They are what they are. You know what I mean? And so as a result, they have structure in their life, and what it's called is Shia Islam. Shiite Islam. And it's not as basic as Wahhabism, Sunniism, which, you know, a lot of the scholars said was wonderful, because what it did is it pretty well got things back to how things were in 7th century, you know, Saudi Arabia. It had an order of life for the people who lived it here. Now in Zog America, it should have been freedom. It should have been freedom of speech, freedom of religion, you know, and you know, what happens, you'd have ordered liberty. But instead, what you have is you have someone like Brian Rear running wild and going with essentially Zogbots like, well, Robert Conrad. And the only thing that keeps an evil creature like Robert Conrad in line is you go ahead and make it quite clear that, you know, your entire family is going to be castrated, your entire family is going to be destroyed here. You know, there's not going to be any around, you know, any of your kind around. There's not going to be any more lawyers. What happens is that no lawyer will be allowed to go ahead and, you know, go ahead and steal from the overall social order and go ahead and go to a crooked judge and then go ahead, okay, I want you to go ahead and give to me, give to my client, Brian Real, his property because he said some bad things because he's a white supremacist here. Us white supremacists should understand is that, hey, not only are whites to be supreme over white countries, but essentially the ones who run a military dictatorship will be supreme. Now the question is, if you want to keep that going, you're going to have to keep yourself from becoming corrupt. And in most cases, most people, you know, don't have the decency, don't have anything to do with it. That's why the, you know, correct way to do things. The correct way to do things is just like, you know, Putin going ahead and understanding why it's stupid to go ahead and spend our men going ahead and fighting things, you know, out here. It'd be far better just bringing in a whole bunch of Iranian drones. And the good thing is that you are going along with the Iranians. What you're doing is that you know, Russia needs to go ahead and turn its back to the dying West here. Essentially, you know, the dying homosexual, satanic West here. It needs to turn its back on there. And essentially, here it is, you know, use conservative, it's massive resources which haven't been looted by the parasites and Jews and the rest here. And simply go ahead and have a good standard of life. Have more than enough to eat. Have more than enough to enjoy yourself and have your own culture. You don't need so-called West, dying, satanic culture. That's the last thing you should do. You should go ahead and close down, just like the Chinese do. They close down satanic Western culture, you know, to Facebook and Google and the rest here. They close down the satanic culture and go ahead and develop your own culture. You're from your own people, rather than the parasitic satanic West, which is out to go ahead and destroy us as a people. So pretty much that's what you end up seeing here, is that people are just waiting. You know, people are waiting for the fall is what they're doing. They're waiting, you know, the fall is now, but they're waiting for the collapse. A lot of us are looking forward to the collapse. Because yes, I'm not doing too well, but if you end up having a whole bunch of people starving, you have a whole bunch of people not doing well, guess what? You know, they'll understand is that, hey, pigs are evil. You know, this government is evil. It's satanic. It doesn't mean anything. what they did is that here they are, they're going to subpoena Trump. Well, don't pay attention to it here. Don't pay attention to it at all. Who cares? Who cares? You tried to steal, you did steal this election. Senile Joe is running around. Oh! And pretty well what he's seeing is that he's trying to hold the line without gas prices going up by another $1 before this election. But you know, when I go to town, I see people. You know, the shelves still filled, but I see people looking scared. Looking scared, and as well they should here. You know, there's nothing good about these judges here, certainly not in Newton County. Every single one of them has something to do with buying and selling my grandchildren. And especially Stremmel and Selby. That's why I have no problem with making, you know, Grids Grinder Grady Stremmel. Go ahead and bite off his spawn's testicles here. And have his little spawn say, oh, what did you do? Well, what you did is that you destroyed other white families. You went after those who, I mean, someone like Crooked Ira. I mean, I'm still gloating like hell here. His fat daughter died here about a month and a half ago. I'm sort of gloating is that, guess what? You have all this respiratory ailments coming in like crazy. You know, before, in October of all places, things here. You know what I mean? It's as if people are not, you know, it's like people are weakened here. Sort of like just before the Black Death came about here. Because they didn't get enough to eat, they were scared, they were under stress. And most people are under stress here. So, if you go ahead and vote for me, what will you do? And the answer is no, no. I mean, it would be stupid to go ahead and fix this system here before it's collapsed here. It needs to collapse. It needs to go ahead and fall apart altogether. It needs to be destroyed. Well, what will replace it? Well, what, you end up having winger whippers like the Z-Bams or all. Well, we ought to go ahead and somehow try to go ahead and keep it running. No. What you should do is that you have the Northeast nuclear power plant. Go ahead and be Chernobyl here. You end up having someone just going ahead and killing your local pigs here, whenever the hell they want to. You just go ahead and show them nothing but contempt. That's what you do. And so, showing them contempt here, one of the ways is to simply go ahead and write my name, Martin Mad Dog Lindstedt, in the write-in ballot here. Pretty well tell Eric Schmidt that, guess what? Yes, just like all Republicans, what you're trying to do, you've been doing for the last 30-odd years, is making sure that so-called extremists don't get a hearing and they don't get to run, in fact, here. Fine. Why should we go ahead and support you here? Well, essentially, when you're coming to the end of the road, the answer is we shouldn't. The answer is we won't. So, what you have in Russia, Vladimir Putin. I was looking. Is that, guess what? They're having their draftees go ahead and cut all these here. Cut all these here branches. All these, branches here, all these trees. And what they're going to do is they're going to go back to, burning wood. Now, they couldn't simply have lived in peace with the Donbass Russians, who had plenty of coal. They couldn't go ahead and have the Germans live in peace here with the Russians here and burn natural gas and have an industrial economy. No, they'll end up having 60-year-old fat women, essentially Soviet boomers, without men, big and fat, just simply, burning green wood, and green wood has more carbon than coal does. But anyway, burning green wood, and talk about how they're going to have an iPhone or iPad or whatever here. Oh, come on here. I guess you can have 60-year-old babushkas here looking at internet porn, while they got all of 2 hours of electricity per day. The cell phone tower is still up here, going ahead and doing as best they can. Yes, that will work out very good. That will work out just peachy. So anyway, this is a situation here. Look, folks. These evil people are painting themselves into a corner. They've stolen whatever. And I think it's just a matter of time before the North Perry nuclear power plant goes Chernobyl. And what happens in addition to pigs, here, just gunning down pigs, we're making lawyers and judges eat their spawns nuts. Eat their spawns nuts here. There's more and more supposed perverts here, but I'm not sure if they're real or not here. I don't trust anything the government says. So anyway, that's my Mad Dog musings for the 21st. If you like this, usually daily. I'm going to try and do it daily until selection day. Mad Dog's musings. Hopefully I'll try to control myself so I don't go ahead and get banned, on YouTube. I may try to go ahead and get on Gab, get on whatever here. But no, what I want is, to understand is that, the current regime is illegitimate. It's just nothing other than corrupt. It wants to go ahead and destroy white men. It wants to go ahead and destroy you. Why should you support it? Why should you just simply say, screw you? I'm not interested in helping you. I'm not going to go ahead and spend any more money than what I need to here. Because I don't have very much, but anyway, you need to go ahead and simplify your life. You need to do better on less. So, this is Pastor Martin Lindstead. You can go ahead and send me ZOGbucks here, and I'll go ahead and put it up where you can put the ZOGbucks here. Pastor Martin Mad Dog Lindstead, 338 Rabbit Track Road. P.O. Box 666, Granby, Granby, Missouri 64844. So, until later, hail victory.